And we've got ourselves audio, and we've got video. Everything is fine, I see, and we may begin. All the lights are on. Now we can begin. Perfect. Very well. Let's see. I see that the flowers, you can't see them. Beautiful flowers, roses. Brian, can you move them up ahead a little bit? The way they, just as is. Yes, a little bit this way. A little bit more. There we go. There we go. Right there. There we go. You can't really see the roses, but they are precious, these roses are. I'm going to take some pictures. Leslie, you can upload them, which are thanks to Lineage, Roblero, and let us begin. Shabbat Shalom, my most esteemed friends, honorable judges, LVE tribe, as well as everyone accompanying us. On this rather precious day of Shabbat, cold yet with sunny, magnificently so, corresponding to Shabbat Adar 26th, the last Shabbat of Adar of the year 5992, the last Shabbat of this year. Next Shabbat we shall have 5993. This corresponds to April 6th of the year 2024. We shall study yet another chapter of Wisdom and Discipline, part 11, or Chokhmah and Musar, part 11. On this so radiant and precious day, many thanks for those roses. Sometimes I forget to thank Lineage Roblero. Many thanks, they are rather spectacular, precious, and they always make us happy and make a very special ambient, even if we can't see it in the video all that great. They make us happy and they beautify this whole room. Without any further ado, let us seek our Elohim. Beloved Yahweh, we give you thanks for this rather precious day of Shabbat. We give you thanks because you give us light, you give us time, you give us understanding, you give us the wisdom that we should have, that we should assimilate, that we must implement in our lives so as to be able to get to what you have planned from the very beginning that creation began. We give you thanks because the times are drawing close at the end of these days of the stage of this year 6000, so as to have everything be fulfilled in your plan of creation, everything that you've given us as a reference in Scripture. I ask that your Spirit be in every one of us. We thank you for all this in your precious name, Yahweh Sabaoth. Alleluia. Yahweh has blessed with one more year of life the following members of the Eternal Truth: Jair Daniel Lombardi Ramos, Peru; Jason Solano Garcia, Costa Rica; Ofelia Garcia, the US of A; Elizabeth Lozano Marcos, Mexico; Denis del Carmen Villegas, Colombia; Alex Perez, Peru; Judith Batista, Panama; Ephraim Duque Rubio, Spain; Mia Luciana Escobar; Paola Rivera Ramirez, Colombia; Julio Fernando Ortiz Alvarado, Guatemala; and Ashling Lee, the US of A, which she gets here every now and then. She lives in Los Angeles. She's not with us here today, but many times she comes to the group. Pardon me? Her uncles are here in her representation in Minto Roblero, which we shall be celebrating his birthday today. We shall eat an exquisite asado. So then, Minto, many blessings in your day. And we shall be enjoying a spectacular Argentinian asado with costillas, with ribs. You brought ribs, right? Costillas and chorizo. The chorizo is chicken chorizo, right? Spectacular, of course, with salad. There is salad, right? Yeah, and salad. So then, mixed Argentinian, the typical Argentinian salad with chimichurri, of course, with chimichurri. And for the guests that almost never get here, We have this in case there's polenta if there's not enough for everyone. And I was telling you that the Argentinian salad is very simple. It's tomato, lettuce, onion, salt, and wine vinegar. It is the best combination, nothing else. And oil, of course. Of oil, vinegar, and salt. No lemon, no lemon. That's the typical Argentinian. I'm teaching you. I'm teaching how you eat the Argentinian asado. Very well. Without moving on, Nila sent us this from London, England. We've got little white Passover eggs, spectacular, and a huge egg also that I'm sure that they are chocolates. Let me open it up. Yeah, they're yellow eggs. It's very original, very original. And we've also got chocolate with milk. We haven't opened it yet. Little bars here, plus more biscuits, which are cookies and more biscuits. Many thanks, Nina. They are very, very delicious. They arrived perfectly well. They have arrived in the perfect time. So then many thanks, Nila, for your generosity. It's time to go out and look for the moon, and this moon is special because it's also a new year. The year 5993 begins, and it's a very special year, the one on its way out, the one we're saying goodbye to, because we declare it as a special year. It's a year in which we have lived many marvelous things. It is the year of the Jubilee because it was after the judgment, and also it was a year in which we enjoyed the rendering of this spectacular ring of the eternal truth, but it's all a symbol. A white stone in itself, a spectacular symbol. And this year is on its way out, but it's on its way out in a way that's marvelous, with a sign that the whole world will see, and is waiting for an eclipse, the greatest there is, that will cross the U.S. entirely. There's this eclipse here, which we enjoy. We have enjoyed one something like this 7 years ago, but this eclipse is crossed. All of Mexico, it'll cross. And the U.S., it'll divide it into two. We in California, that live in California, won't be able to see much of it, but we'll be able to see, not entirely, but Mexico's cut in half, Texas cut in half, and the rest of the states, and it'll be so great. They say it's one of the greatest, or the greatest in the century. And you know how all the Christian people get waiting for the end of the world to get here, waiting for there to be disasters and things like that, because these are the signs that they look for. We understand many other things, but it's very good, because as it turns out, the day in which this takes place, the year ends. It is the last year of the year. If you say it's the 8th and we end on the 9th, yes, exactly. But when this takes place, it's almost always for the land of Israel, we could say. It's already taking place. The sun is going down, and it's taking place the last day of the year. So then it's the same thing with a difference of hours. The year ends with this solar eclipse, feared by many, by us. Even NASA will launch 3 ships in an operation called Serpent Deity Operation. Serpent Deity Operation is called. Because the serpent deity, it was the Egyptian god, the most powerful one, the god of evil, which had as a mission to destroy the cosmos, and they called a special study, which they will launch, according to them. They will launch 3 rockets so as to observe how the eclipse acts and some effect that you can see from the atmosphere. So then everyone, with those names, just imagine serpent deity with that name. Christians get all their hair standing up, and for the NASA to send us, they're all alarmed. The Christians are, we're talking about the Christians that are looking for the signs and all the rest. And if that wasn't enough, on that same day during the eclipse, the accelerator in Switzerland will take will do the strongest test that there's ever been. And they say that the eclipses bring a special energy and blah, blah, blah. And they say, oh, they're going to open the portal. They're going to open the portal so that Apollyon or Abaddon be given the keys of the abyss and the demons will open up. That'd be great. I mean, that'd be great. I've seen many videos from the Christians that are terrified, saying that this marks the coming of the Antichrist, the anti-Mashiach. And that'd be so great for him to come, because the anti-Mashiach of theirs is the true Mashiach. Because when the true Mashiach comes, they're going to say, that's not the Mashiach. We're waiting for a Mashiach to come from heaven. He's the Son of God. No, this group, you are the anti-Mashiach. A textbook written the way they have it. They are precisely waiting for an Antichrist to show up of those characteristics, and it'd be great for that to take place. Will it take place? No, I don't know. What do I know? We still have some more years for the year 6000 to be fulfilled, but it'd be a great time. It'd be a great time. What I will tell you is that Yahweh ends this year with a great boom. That boom is this solar eclipse. That's brutal. So then, we shall see the eclipse on the 8th, and the very next day, when the sun is going down, on Tuesday, April 9th, because the eclipse is April 8th, Monday, April 8th, and Tuesday, April 9th, when the sun is going down, we shall see the moon, which gives start to the month of Aviv and the new year, 5993 from creation. So then, everyone, all of the eternal truth, we're going to go out and look for the moon. Could it be a very special day? Of course. It could be. Am I prophesying? No, I'm not prophesying absolutely anything. I'm saying that it could be what we're waiting for. It could be that we have to continue to study. That could also be it. So then, I am very excited, waiting for that eclipse that finalizes the year of the Jubilee. And also, I love the idea for the Antichrist to show up. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. For Abaddon to be given the key of the abyss and to open the abyss, that'd be spectacular. Spectacular. And the Christians, well, it's going to not be all that great for them, but they are afraid of that, and I am so happy for that. So happy for the so desired and feared Antichrist to show up. Yesterday, I was buying things in Home Depot, and I heard the cashier speaking with the lady, saying, oh, with this eclipse, you're going to have all types of disasters to the earth, earthquakes, floods, all kinds of things. When they stopped speaking, I got into it, but speaking in the Christian language, and I said, oh yeah, all kinds of things is going to happen in this eclipse. It's going to have anything to do. He says, yes, it's a sign from God. And I said, do you think the Antichrist might show up? And he said, yes, that could be for the Antichrist that might show up. And he says, he said, and that is what we're all fearing. And I said, no, it'd be great for the Antichrist to show up. As a Christian, we should wait for the Antichrist to show up, because what are we fearing? The Antichrist. If there's no Antichrist, there's also no Christ. Yes, but he says, but the Antichrist will pursue the children of God. That's fine. I said, that's fine for him to pursue whatever he has to do. I find that well, but for him to show up already, because if we're waiting for the end of the world, yes, that has to show up. And he says, yes, but no, it's going to be very harsh. Okay, so then for him, you don't want him to show up? Let him show up already. And I was just laughing within, just speaking seriously with him. I made him understand, yes, that it's true that in the end of it all, we welcome the Antichrist. Exactly, what you must do it quickly. Why taking so long for the let's have the Antichrist show up. In the meantime, we here will see the eclipse, and then afterwards we shall welcome the new year, 5993, and the month of Aviv, which is the festivities month. And it's great because what begins are the feasts of Yahweh, and Pesach begins, And then after those dates, of course, that I've given you the calendar already, we have Pesach, and that's spectacular. Tell the truth that it'd be a very great moment. I don't decide these things, Yahweh does, but that's where we're at. Very well. I'd like to remind you that we offer an absolutely free service for those that may have any type of physical conflict that they are suffering, and that service is Angelina's consult. And the description is in this video. The description of this video, we have the address where you should write to, which is Angelina's Facebook. She'll give you an absolutely free visit online and will tell you how to resolve the problems if you want to resolve them, and it's absolutely free. Marvelous. And I always remind you of it because it is there for all of you, and also for your lineage, your family, your friends. They don't have to be members of the Eternal Truth. Whomever that wishes or understands a little bit that the origin of what we suffer is an emotional or a shock that we live, and we're living a situation which is a conflict that could be resolved, and once that is resolved, then all the symptoms are also resolved, which we reflect in our body. Very well. Shema Israel, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Ekhad. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh, our Elohim, Yahweh one is. It is only one being. That is the basic beginning of the eternal truth. There is no Mashiach, there is no truth, there's no wisdom if you don't understand this. This is the basic, absolutely basic thing completely, and we all understand it clearly. Jeremiah 16:19-21 says, Yahweh, my strength and my stronghold, my refuge in the day of tribulation. And to thee shall come the peoples from the ends of the earth, and shall say, only lies was the inheritance of our fathers. What are they going to say? Only lies. Everything that we believed was a great lie. Vanity to which there is no avail. How many Christians will say that? Every single one. How many Jews will say that? Every last one of them will say that. How many Muslims will say that? Every last one of them will say that. And how many the rest of the religions or non-religions will say that? Every one of them. They're all going to say that. They're going to say, only lies was the inheritance of our fathers. Vanity to which there is no avail. If it is man that makes himself gods, then they are not gods. That is why, behold, I shall make it be known to them this time. I shall show them the strength of mine arm, and they shall know that my name is Yahweh. That part about that my name is Yahweh is the same thing as if to say, and they should know that I am one alone, Yahweh Ekhad, and they shall know that Yahweh, the Elohim of everyone, Yahweh, is one. That's what they'll know. And here we've got, in representation of this protest, we've got Tanjiro. If someone does not know this, because the kids, I'm sure they have known this, and some of you do know this, this is Tanjiro. He's a demon slayer. He is an executioner, or we could say killer, or an assassin. I don't like the name assassin all that great. Slayer is one that kills demons. He is an assassin of demons. He's Tanjiro. And the demons, we know, no one knows what the demons are. The demons are the lies. That is what the demons are. They are the lies that this humanity lives. So then Tanjiro, what he is an assassin of lies, what the eternal truth is. And here we are in representation. Angelina, let me borrow it. Angelina, let me borrow it. It's Tanjiro in a protest, because he wants, in representation of the whole eternal truth, to kill all the lies of the world. And it's still not possible, but when the Antichrist comes for the Christians, or the Messiah, he will kill. He'll be a true demon slayer, a true assassin or killer of demons. Malachi 2:16, and we've got Chokhmah here, which you already know. What is this girl in bikini doing there? because she's a representation, it's a parable of the woman which calls herself Chokhmah. In other words, wisdom personified, which is a woman that's very a seductress, very intelligent, very attractive. For all those which desire her, they can possess her, which is wisdom. Malachi 2:17 says, Ye have wearied Yahweh with your words. And you say, In what have we wearied him? In that you say, Whomever doth evil pleaseth Yahweh. And in such he delighteth, or else, where is the Elohim of justice? Very well, the text of the invitation, we have chosen the same one of last Shabbat because we shall review this. I was not able to explain certain things last Shabbat, so then today we'll have it back. But I'd like to answer also some questions that I've left last Shabbat. They're very interesting, some of them are. And today, it is 11:23 at 1 o'clock. Boca plays again. I'll tell it to you right now. I told you last Shabbat already. The athletic club Boca Juniors plays at 1 o'clock in California, 5 o'clock Argentina, and then whatever other hour that you may have, you'll see that the game is about to begin, and we play a very important game today. So you have nothing else to do? Today's Saturday, today's Shabbat, why don't we study the Bible? Well, we are a very special group. A very special group. This is not a church. This is a group of friends. Very different to what a church is, very different to everything else known. And we enjoy all things on this earth, the things which interest us, like music and of many other things, and also soccer, and also scripture, of course. And Boca plays here today, and most of them, so as to not say all of the eternal truth belongs to Boca. So then today we play a crucial game because it's two left to finish today's cup to qualify. There are two groups. We've got Group 1 and Group 2, or Group A and Group B, same thing. And so then we are in Group B or Group 2, and we have to qualify with the score for us to be in fourth place, and the four of every group will go into a different instance, which is like the playoffs to get a champion. But we have to get in fourth place, and we're not in fourth place right now. We've gone down because there was a game that was suspended, and we still have to play it. And today we play with a direct rival. It's called, I'll teach you for those that don't know. The team is called Newell's Old Boys from Rosario. It's from the city of Rosario, which is the second city in importance in Argentina. You have Buenos Aires, then Rosario, and then Cordoba, the city of Cordoba. Those are the most important cities in Argentina. Well, this club is a club which is from the second importance, Newell's Old Boys. And there's another group in Rosario called Rosario Central. So then, in the city of Rosario, which is the province of Santa Fe, it is divided. That city is, that's how the Argentines are. It is divided by a group that belongs to Newell's Old Boys, and another group that is called Rosario Central, and between them they hate each other. That's how the Argentinos are. They are enemies. No matter if in the family you've got from Rosario Central and Newell's, no matter when they play against each other, there's even matrimonies that have been broken. Absolutely, it's like River and Boca. Absolutely, but this competition or rivalry divides literally the city of Rosario. I could care less about either one of them, not even Newell's Old Boys or Rosario Central. They have the colors more like Boca's because they have blue that is kind of like dark with a little violet maybe with yellow from the Rosario Central. And Newell's is black, red, and white, which looks more like the chickens. But I really don't either hate them or like them, either one of the two, just like that. They're very important teams, the most important ones in Argentina. Very important, very important. They're not of the five great ones. The five great ones are Boca, River, Independiente. That order does not matter. Independiente, Racing, Independiente, and San Lorenzo. Those are the five great teams of soccer in Argentina. I'll repeat it again. Boca, River, Racing includes Avellaneda, Independiente includes Avellaneda, and San Lorenzo of Mario. The five greatest teams. And then we've got other greatest teams like Vélez. It could also be Estudiantes of La Plata teams. What is a great team or a small team? The quantity of titles that they've won and also the quantity of people that follow them. That is what makes a team great. If a team is followed by many people, but they haven't won much, it's not so great. They have a lot of followers, but don't have many titles. Others a lot of titles, but not a lot of followers. So then they're also not great. So then out of the five great ones, then we have other ones. But from the interior of the country that is not from Buenos Aires, two of the greatest ones without any argument, it's Newell's Old Boys and Rosario Central. Well, today we play in the city of Rosario against Newell's Old Boys. And there is not one sole fan of Boca. The Argentines are so passionate and out of place that it took them, they decided for them to not be any visiting fans there. In all the rest of the countries, they could sit together. We could have a fan here, a fan from Chivas, or other from America. Nothing happens. You have to divide them sometimes, but they could be together. They're all mixed. In Argentina, they could not even be separate in the same stadium, because even so, they would try to bring down everything to go and fight them. And so they had to brought more cops in order for the fans to be even more separated, or else they would find each other outside. So then one have to wait for an hour for the other one to get here. Complete chaos. And they said, you know what? No more visiting fans, just the local ones, and that's it. They're very out of place, very passionate. The Argentinians are. So then today we play in the Estadio Rosario Central with all the fans from Newell's Old Boys, with all the fans that is going to cheer their team on. It's going to be felt. The only ones from Boca are the players and the coach, and the rest of the stadium will be insulting them and cheering on their team. It's going to be a very difficult game. I hope we win. So then we shall see. Enjoy it. To top it off, Cavani is injured, which he started off wrong, but now that he started scoring, he got injured. So that's why last Shabbat we saw that it was halfway. We weren't able to see it because the coach, it was because he felt like a pull in one muscle, but it's so great that he can't play now. We don't have Cavani, so then it's better for us to play well in that so hostile terrain that we're going to play in. Very well. I explained to you even soccer so that you can feel the passion. But today when you see Newell's Old Boys, which is called in the park that we're going to play in the park, wow, you shall see the pressure with which Boca will have to play. All enemies in a enemy field, and even so, that's how we have to play. And let's see if we win. And without Cavani and playing well, let's see how we fare today. Whoever wins here today has the possibilities of qualifying. The one that loses, maybe there's not much chance for them to win. And by tying, I don't think it's good for either one of the two. They both want to win, so then those are very, very good games. I'm about to wrap this up also because I start to feel the energy. The energy. I want you to feel it as well. Very well. Invitational text. Are you bored with everything that I just said? Because to top it off, you're learning history here. Invitational text is Proverbs 1:23, Spanish, DHH. Pay attention to my corrections, and I will fill you with my spirit. I shall make it be known unto you my thoughts. Wisdom and Discipline, Part 11. But I have to take the time at least of reading some of the questions that I have, depending on, maybe I read all of them or I leave some for next Shabbat. We'll see. The first one is, I'll read it, because I'll teach a little bit more, by the way, in certain things, but it was not a question. It's not somebody from the Eternal Truth. There's somebody that is listening now, the studies of the Eternal Truth, and wrote to me. And it was not in the form of a question, rather, but I'm interested in reading it and commenting about it. It reads as follows. It says, "Hello, Christian. Good day. May I suggest that on Saturdays you can make it exclusive for Bible studies, and for Sundays, be it for congratulations, interesting weekly news and presents that they send you, and answer questions, so that the videos don't get to be so long. And I send you blessings, since I'm learning a lot from the Eternal Truth. Thanks." Well, that is precisely why I read it, so that to teach something for all those which desire to learn. We as human beings have many virtues and many defects. Amongst the defects that we have one that is called trying to manipulate the other. Yeshua showed it in many ways. For example, before watching the splinter in your brother's eye, look at the huge 4x4 in your eye. Don't look at what the others have. We want to manipulate, we want to change people to our ways. I answered him very softly. I answered him this, as you will hear. I said, "Hello, so. Look, I will always do what I find correct and pleases me. This implies me not just to study the scriptures, but to say hello to my friends and to think and speak about whatever I want. Always people come that suggest, quote unquote, to speak shorter, to speak better, to not say bad words, to cut my hair, to use a tie, to stand up to speak somewhere else, to speak about certain subjects, etc., 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 and to not speak about certain other subjects. Do you see what you tell me? That's what I want you to think about this a little bit. They always want to correct me, something, control, guide, reform, etc. Those are my studies. Take them or leave them. These are my studies. What am I trying to say with this? What I'm trying to say, now that I read I'll amplify this. I'll amplify it this way. I'm a person that is open to suggestions, of course. In fact, I learn from all of you. I learn from people from the outside, because the wisdom is in everyone in a greater or a smaller quantity, and you never know where it's coming, because wisdom cries out in the cities, in the entrance of the gates, city squares. There's wisdom everywhere. We have to know how to discern what wisdom is and what is not. So then I am open to suggestions, but I also notice, and when there is something, a good suggestion, I take it, but I also notice how the people like to manipulate. Ever since I started to speak, they always told me, cut your hair, wear a tie, don't speak that way, talk about this subject, don't speak so harsh, be softer, speak about this more often, or don't speak about that way, don't say that, speak, or somewhere else, don't speak so long because you make us boring, don't make it so short. The people want a message that to the measure that they like. And they do accept that they are learning something, or a lot, or a little, but they wish they could reform it. They want to reform you. That is a bad attitude, a bad quality in humans, because I am not here so that no one can come and reform me to the measure that they want to hear. If I'm here, it's kind of like a gift. If somebody wants to accept that, they can accept. Somebody wants to take one part of this, we'll take it. But with all the quantity of people there is, they can't sit here and try to mold me to their ways, or because they wish to listen to this message and they didn't want to hear bad words, and they write to me on a permanent basis. They say, you ruined your whole message. Why don't you purify your language? What language do I have to purify? There's no purified language. We've got a language that's very malicious that Yahweh gave us. So then, it's not that there are good words and bad words. The bad words, the actual ones, are the lies. That is a bad word. To say there are three gods, that is a bad, so bad a word. The worst one there is, the worst one that there could be. To say Christ, the Son of God, comes from heaven to look for me, that is another bad word. To say the earth is a globe, that's a bad word. The worst ones there is, because it's a lie. So then the bad words or good words are not in how you pronounce or what words it may be, but rather what meaning they have. If the meaning is a lie, then it's a bad word. That is a bad malediction. Something said with wickedness, a malediction. And a blessing, a benediction, is something said well. So then, the people confuse what bad words are to what the goods are. The good ones are. In the churches, the people think they hear good words, and all they hear are bad words. That the Trinity exists, that God the Father, Son, Holy Spirit is the true God, that Sunday is the day of worship, that, and all the quantity of lies that there are in the churches. Those are bad words. That science, that the injections, that's all I'll say, the injections are good. That's a very bad word, a mortal word, I would say. Just like that, it's a mortal word, just like that. More than bad, it is malicious, lethally so, that what they want to place to you, to give you life, that is malicious to the death. So then the people always come to try to correct me, try to look for me in their measure. You know what? You have to learn to listen. From the Jews I learned something, that when somebody is in the presence of a wise man, you don't even have to ask questions, you have to listen. Because the people that suggest things of this type, they think that they are wiser than you. They think that they're on top of you, over you, and they want to come and be your manipulator, your manager. They're like, hey, if you were to speak, if you were to say the congratulations, the birthdays, the news, what else did they say? And to answer questions and to show the presents they send you, or the huge presents they send you. Oh, I could care less about that. Go ahead, do that on Sunday, because I'm not going to watch it. I could care less. I want you to speak to me about the Bible. Wow. That is being disrespectful. First of all, the eternal truth is not a church. The eternal truth is a group that is special of friends and colleagues. And when one has friends, the first thing you do is to greet each other, to tell each other what happened during the week. If you give each other gifts, you give each other gifts to congratulate each other. That's what friends are. It's not a church that you come into. I come to praise. Nobody comes to praise here. So then in the reunion of friends, after saying hello and everything, speaking a little bit about soccer, they said, well, let's study a little bit, and if you don't like this, then don't come and listen. Don't come and tell me I want you to do it this way or that, so then I'll feel well. No. You don't understand not even what it is to be a part of the eternal truth. Here, someone true of the eternal truth enjoys everything that we do because we're friends, absolutely friends. I'm not going to present the presents if you send them to me with such love, and I don't even know how to return it to you except by showing you, look at what they sent me. Thank you for the show of affection that you do towards us. How beautiful is that? Because this, more than a study, is a group that has been formed of friends that will be a rock for all eternity. So that try to, before giving a suggestion, I'm not speaking to the eternal truth, the others that are listening to this, try to come and learn if you want to learn. You have a lot to learn, even these things that I'm saying. I am teaching this. In my own house, there's been people that tell me this is wrong, that's wrong, take that moon out. It's an adoration unto the sun, this is wrong. You have food in the fridge, there shouldn't be there. Take the lamps out, take this, that out. They want to rule your life. Your mom comes to the house, this is wrong. Your wife should not talk to you. You're bringing your children up wrong. They get into what they shouldn't get into. And that I do speak to the Holy Eternal Truth. You get into what you shouldn't get into. Stick into your own life, because you have many things to fix. Not just a little piece of hay, but an entire life. Work on that, not on the rest of the people. Your job is to work on you, not in the rest. Not in the rest. Very well. There was a lot to say about this, but or else we would never again finish with this answer. So then thank you for the suggestions. Get into your own things. I teach in this space, but you're not going to see me getting into your life. I've seen you in Facebook, and you have something there like a cross, or you have a Jewish star that I'm like, no, you're not going to see me doing that. Because everyone has to decide what they do and what they don't. You're not going to, or saying, unless you come and ask me, but that's a different thing. If you ask me about something that you're going through, I'll give you my opinion, but I'm not going to give it to you if you don't ask me, and I won't get into it, because everyone has to do his own life and learn his path. And this is a gathering of friends. And if I define it, biblically speaking, it is a gathering of gods. And if you don't like it, if you want to study the Bible, you know how many groups in Facebook there's not to study the Bible? Exactly. Study the Bible with the others. We study even about soccer here. We study about everything. I've talked to you today about the second city in the country that has 12 teams. Now we play against Newells. Exactly. Exactly. Like the name of today's subject, it's not all about doctrine, it's the discipline, how to treat others. Exactly. Very well. Now let's go to a question. It reads as follows. It says, hello, Christian, I have some questions. This happened to me 2 months ago. They came to my house, some Jehovah's Witnesses. I know that you said for me to tell them to go fuck off. But I wasn't able to do it, and I started to conversate with them. I told them that Yahweh is the one that made good and evil. Oh, and I told them that the Bibles, they were all misinterpreted. And I also told them that the letters of the apostles are their interpretation, and they were surprised. I was surprised as well. So we all got surprised. Everyone got surprised. They did. I did. I thought they were going to insult me. And they didn't. My question is, here comes the question. If one can speak about what you teach us, in other words, speaking in parables, I spoke because they say some things that I couldn't bear. I had to speak. The other question is, if it is necessary to tell you, okay, hold on. I'll stop there and read it again. I know it's fun to speak with the Jehovah's Witnesses. If I were to send them to the house again, it is because sometimes I've already been sick and tired of speaking with them. That does not take away that you could have a dialogue with whomever. Of course it's fine. In fact, you practice what you know, careful, that you know how to respond well. That's all. Jehovah's Witnesses are very agile. They do not get upset, but rather they try to say and listen to you and say, yeah, that's fine, but we interpret it. They're very evasive that way. like they don't get upset, but they want to always try to convert you, to make you see things the way they see it. They'll explain it, they may even convince you. That's what the Jehovah's Witnesses are. That's fine. It's always been fun speaking with them. I always had fun speaking with them. When I ask them difficult questions, they always tell me this, and they've told me now I didn't even speak to them. They've said, well, your question is way past what we know. Matter look with our leader, and he'll answer everything that you want. They've answered that way. And I've told them, okay. And one time they brought a leader, and I said, okay, you can bring him, and I'll talk with your leader. And they brought a leader, and we spoke for hours with the leader about them. And of course, we didn't get anywhere. We didn't get anywhere because we have different visions, but I thought it was fun. They had more questionings, I think. I checked them in many things and didn't know how to answer to me. They're not going to say, I'm going to bring you a superior prophet because they didn't have anyone else available. So they said, well, fine. That's what you think. We think this way, and that's it. But seeds were planted in their minds. Can you do that? Of course you can. Of course you can. Of course. That's fine. If you want to talk with them, chat with them all you want. And if you convince them, and if they convince you and you want to leave, that's fine. That's all fine too. I would never say don't speak with them because they can confuse you. If they can, is because you didn't know what you were supposed to know. That's fine. You have to be to the test. It's like if I fabricate a weapon and I said don't test it with water. No, hold on. Try it in all terrains with sand, wet, and everything. Because if it does not shoot, then I don't want that weapon. I want it to work in all conditions, to not use it for 2 years with oil, or else why do I want it for? Do you understand what I'm saying? So then if you think you know that what you know, then you can speak with anyone. If anyone or whatever convinces you, then you were not convinced of the previous situation, and I find that to be good. You have to follow what you understand. So on that side, I'm not afraid, nor you should be afraid. I'm not like the other religions that I say, oh, don't speak with anyone because I want to lose you. No, none whatsoever, none whatsoever. If you want to speak with someone and they convince you that Sunday is the true day, or that God has a son in heaven, and who knows when he had it, or that it's a co-eternal being with someone else, perfect. That's it. Or that Jesus is coming, the Son of God, in the clouds. He was preparing for 2,000 years and coming back. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. You have to go where you feel that the truth is. So then test yourself. I'm not afraid at all. Speak with whomever you want. Don't get upset, or else it's not gonna be convenient. Second question. So the other question is, if it's necessary to tell you when you give tithes, well, you can let me know or not, or you can just send it directly. That is up to you. I don't have children, but I'd like for you to speak if there's more technique of controlling children when you have some months. Okay. Let's take the word control, because I didn't like it, but educate would be more than control. I don't want to control the children, but I want to educate them. I want them to self-control themselves. I know it's part of the parents controlling, but I don't like that word because it's just my dad. We're controllers. No. I prefer for them to say, no, my parents educated me. No, of course, the educators, not controllers. So then I don't teach techniques to control, but for the education of the children so that the children grow and they look for a self-control. And if you don't have children, then continue to study, because in this series we'll continue to speak everything that I've spoken. Every time there's a text or a question, or in Proverbs, we'll speak a lot about this, about the education of the children, all the rest. So then up ahead, we'll continue to develop this subject, but not a controller. I don't want you to say, thanks for teaching me to control my children. No. Education, not control. No control. Let go of the control a bit. Okay, what else? I don't control you, mind you, because that it'd be the same thing. I educate you. I educate you in wisdom, and you self-control yourself. What else? What else? Okay, ready. That's it. It says, thank you for this opportunity you give us to be wise. I thank you with all my heart, Semper. Okay, fine. So then enjoy your chats and your questionings also with the Jehovah's Witnesses. Yes, that's fine. Perfect. Another question. Shabbat Shalom, Christian and lineage. Question is according to the subject of Shabbat, Wisdom and Discipline 9, inspecting through my eyes and what I have in my feeling, whether I am covetous or egotistical in my relation, I support my partner to not misuse money because I know how difficult it is to have it. And when we plan to have something for our home, to get to the objective, I've had to even not spend in my personal things with trying to support. When they have to buy something, and I'll reduce my own personal things, and I know what he's referring to, is it necessary or not, as long as to save for that project that we have in the home. You can understand it very well up until now, right? The question? But I have the dilemma. I want to know if this person is egotistical or covetous. If I'm covetous or egotistical. But I have the dilemma with her family members that are always asking for money, borrowed money, to pay for debts of credit cards that they use, that then they turned out to be personal purchases. And that has caused us to be upset with my couple, my partner, because I feel like she does not value my sacrifice. And then she ends up giving away the money that was supposedly a loan. So then the family members that ask for a loan, she gives them the money that they had saved, gives them the money, and they take it, and it's just from credit cards. The question is it wrong to feel upset? Courage. It is. You should say anger, wrath. Is it wrong to feel upset or envy due to her family members? That in the end of it all, they had the things that they wanted with the money of my partner. I hope my question is understood. Greetings and thank you for the blessings and discipline. Blessings. It's very clear. We can understand it well. Here there is a problem in the couple. There's a problem in the couple, evidently. The wrath that you feel and the courage, the wrath, is that you see your couple to give money to her family members is comprehensible. It is comprehensible. There are many things that you should bear in mind, because I don't have the whole real story of the true necessities. I have to see it in the way that you paint it here. In other words, it could be that it'd be a little different because you have to listen both voice and all the rest. I don't have the details to judge whatsoever, but I'll speak about this part without knowing the other. In other words, it's impartial. Let's say it's completely partial. Not impartial, but partial. I'm being partial because you only told me one part of it. I need to hear the other part to see if things really are that way, if money was for the personal use of the family or it was an emergency of all the rest. But as a general guide, and this I'll last you, maybe you don't understand this, but because I teach to be generous, and you have to be generous. But you have to know how to be generous. First of all, if they are married and the economy is for them both, they have to both agree on that. Yes, that's the first point. That's the first and main point. If the story is the way you tell me, the one that loans to their family or gives them, because those loans never return, without the authorization, the entire authorization of the other part of the matrimony, then it's already a mistake, and a mistake that has to be remedied immediately. Once I taught that matrimony is a company with two associates. It's 50-50. It's not that the man has more stock or anything. No, it is a society with 50%, no matter if one works outside and the other one works inside, or one associate wins more, earns more, doesn't matter, it's 50-50. And anything that they have to spend as also loans, they have to both as a society to be in agreement. There is no right. I want you to understand this well, because otherwise you won't learn to be wise nor to understand what is right and wrong. Nor both the husband and the wife, do they have any right to help any family member in any circumstance whatsoever, not even a case of life and death, to give them money that is not theirs alone, because it belongs to both of them. And as associates, it's like in a company, a real associate in a company, they start to give money to whomever without the other's authorization. It isn't so. In a society, they have to both be in agreement. And when that happens, or else there will be a bankruptcy or separation. There's no doubt about it. If somebody takes money from the company and gives it to another, it's enough. I don't want to say it's to get upset and actually get violent. And this is not about being envious or not. No, because money is of the company. I cannot have an associate that says, "Oh yeah, I took some money out of our account and I gave it to that one because he needed it." No. So I want you to understand this. Those that are going to go into a society, which is a matrimony, they start belonging to their family. I want you to understand this. You don't understand it. You, the Latin Americans and some Americans, they don't understand it. You stop belonging to your family. The scripture says, man shall leave is the word. How's the word? Lech lecha. Exactly, lech lecha. Good, Minto. Shall leave. Just like Abraham left. Abraham left his city, his kin, anything that is known, his friends, and he went to a land, an unknown land. Well, matrimony is the same thing. When one gets married, one stops, like the Bible says, lech lecha. The man shall leave his father and mother and shall join into his woman. They shall be one company. Under no circumstance whatsoever should one of the two, neither of the two spouses, have any right to give money to their little sister, their brother, their cousin, if there is not a common consentment. There's like, "Oh, my mom needs money. Can I help her?" And it's like, "Yeah, help her." They can help her out. If the wife or the husband says, "Hey, wait, hold on. We don't have enough. We don't have enough. We're going to use the money for something else." Or if your mom doesn't return the money and says, "No, you know what? I don't think so. She never pays back." There are two paths there. Two paths. Only two paths. To say exactly, "I would give you, but I can't. Because this belongs to both of us." And the other path is to get separated. That's it. There's no other path here. If the wife or the husband grabs money from their matrimony and gives it against the will of the other, that's enough to break that matrimony. It's theft. It's theft. I want you to understand this well. It is theft. Absolutely, it's theft. So then, the answer is very simple. Very simple. You fix this quickly. This is not about envious or not being generous. If the one that wrote to me is not in agreement, and especially not in agreement because they're saving so she always takes it to a family member of the other, and they know that they're spending things and that she's fixed, but the other one buys them. And that it's not a loan, but it's a gift because there's no return. Then you have to say, this is over today. It's over today. No matter what happens, it's over. And if not, then the company ends as well. I'm in favor for the companies to end, not before. Before, when I was a little bit more Toraic and biblical and Christian, I would teach matrimonies are indivisible, and only God can separate them. No, that is absolutely, can fuck off to the shit, because neither did God put them together, and the one that signed was man. The one that tried to say, you want to marry me, was man. It's not that God came and said, hey, you two, you and you, I want you together. That would be what God put together. But God put it together through a symbol. But those that got together wanting to get together are them. And if it didn't work out, and I've learned it since I learned Germanic medicine, then it breaks and that's it, it's over. Move on to something else. Move on to something else. There's no turn of the page to say, no, if the man does not, some guy has a drunkard and doesn't want to stop drinking, doesn't want to work, or mistreats her, and does not give enough, the Torah also says, look, if there's no food, there's no shelter, no sex, out. The Torah says three things which are essential for a woman, that if she doesn't have all those three, she has the right to get divorced, which is food, if the husband doesn't give her food, shelter, which is shelter and a place to live, and sex. It says, when you're not giving me those three things, I'll look for someone else, and that's it. And then I'll say, that's fine, get separated. Didn't give her sex, what do you want? Then why didn't get married? Why did he get married? Oh, but I gave her so much food, and it's not the three basic things. It's three basic things. It is food, shelter, and sex. But I give her so much love. Yeah, one of those three is love, but the other, no. And that's the way it is. As simple as that. The word is. My words are very clear. So then, am I in favor of the dissolvement of marriages? Before I didn't, but now I do. So then, if in the economical part, in the matrimony, I know that in the modern day and age, I know I'm going against many things. I don't feel about two different accounts. In many aspects, let's suppose that the woman says to the husband, can you have me have my account that I'll save? Yeah, perfectly well. If he agrees, that's fine. That's fine. As long as the husband has access whenever he wants to have access, not to touch it, but just to have access. And when the wife has entire access of the husband. If they both work, there could be two accounts, but those two accounts should be conjoined. And if they're not joined, they should have the true knowledge and the access as well. Activity, everything that she could check, how much she has, how much goes out, whenever. If we start to divide things, we're not one. It's a company. It's a company. I want you to understand the concept. Or else make an agreement to live as roommates. It just gets separated already, so get separated. There is no unity in that matrimony. There's no unity if the wife does not have access to the husband's cell phone. Get separated directly, or you let me have access whenever. And it's not that the wife is going to be checking every day. Who's this now? Who called you here? No, but to have free access whenever she wants. Why? Because that is the confidence. If the husband uses a code that the wife cannot access, that for me, even if he doesn't have anything hidden, that matrimony is broken. Just like that, it is broken. Because the codes, there shouldn't be restrictions within matrimony. I want you to understand that if in your case, no, because I don't want from my wife to have access to that, it's the same thing as to say I don't want to get conjoined with her. I don't be one with her. I want her to be looking over everything. But if the wife is always checking and checking. You have to work with the wife also. What I'm saying has many variations. I don't want you to get confused. I'm not saying that the husband should be checking the phone every 2 minutes. That would be somebody insane. It's also to kick her out of the house as well. If you cannot trust me, then I don't want a jealous, crazy lady. Jealousy ruins everything, but blocking everything also, so that they both have to have access about everything of theirs, but to have confidence and trust. If there's no trust, that matrimony is broken. It is broken. If the husband dies or the wife dies, either the two has to have access, instant access to whatever finance, nothing hidden. I want to enter the PayPal account. I don't have the accounts. What? That's enough to grab that dead person by the neck. What do you mean? How did that work? You have to have free access in every aspect. There cannot be little secrets. Oh, look, my husband, my wife had a secret account here. Wow. Oh, no. That cannot happen. But I'm going way into depth with today's subject. The thing is that the financial help to whatever depends on both. Depends on both of them. For example, I'm going to give an example that's weird and difficult. Let's suppose that a man believes in the eternal truth and the woman doesn't. So then the man that believes in the eternal truth and believes what the truth is wants to give tithes, and the woman says, no, sir, that money that is also mine is not going anywhere. The tithes, we're not going to give tithes. How do you solve that? Because what I'm teaching, I teach it in every aspect. How do you solve that? Well, that's it. A division, there's no turn of the page. Because he has the right to say, you're not going to take money out from here. Even if you earned it, you're not going to take it out. To give tithes, are you crazy? No, sir. That money belongs to both of us, and we do not give tithes. So the husband has to decide and say, okay, well, then we're not going to live together here anymore because this doesn't work. Do you understand what I'm saying? If I have a company, and I look for an associate from outside, that is why the Bible teaches us that you should not submit yourselves to an uneven conjoinments. And we start to work together with somebody from the outside. And I want to put the earnings of the company. And tithes says, no, you're going to give tithes of your earnings. Or else from the earnings of what we pay each other, then you can tithe that, which I find that to be okay. But if an associate says, well, I'm used to giving more than that, I'd like to give that of the company, not of my own personal tithes, the other cannot accept it. It says, no, hold on, that's my money. You can't do that. Then you would say, you see, you cannot have be associated with somebody from the outside. You could solve it that it is the personal gain of the associate. He pays for that, but not the tithe of the company. And the company maybe does not have that blessing of the tithes, but does it from the associate. It's always better. Of course. Exactly. Let's put it backwards. Another case. Let's suppose that the man works and the woman is of the eternal truth, and she says, I want to give tithes. And the guy says, but are you crazy? What did you eat? What could she do that? Well, the solution, one of the minimum, would be out of the money that she receives, at least for her things and what she gives them, she takes tithes from there, like the company, from her own part, and for the husband to pay for the house and everything, nothing, because the husband will pay for that. And if that's enough, then that's fine. And if not, then once again, separation. There's no turn of the page. I teach you that. So then this question is completely normal. Talk with your wife or your husband, because I don't know if it's man or woman. Well, I do know. Either way. You don't know. It's anonymous. So speak with your husband or your wife and tell them, look, things are like this, no more money to your family unless I authorize it. And I'm not going to authorize it for now. I'm telling you now, I'm not going to authorize it because we've given them enough. We've given them enough. And let us help ourselves. Not them, that they, these lazy bums. I'm already adding. Why are you adding those people? Let them go out and work. Stop fucking around. And they're not both in agreement, that's fine. Or all separation. It's simple as that. It's as simple as that. For example, I'm going to give an example. Just an example. When a husband gets divorced and he has children with another partner, and then he marries another woman, she already knows that he's going to have to send by law certain money to the other family. She already knows. It's either accepted or not. It's not that he's stealing. He already acquired a company with debt. It's like if I acquire a company but it has debt, the company does have to pay for it. That is understandable. It's by obligation. But when they were about to get married, she already knew that he had an ex-wife and children. That it's known, right? It's like buying a company that has debt already. Very well. Wanted to clarify that just in case you want to ask me. So then, that is not what it is to be covetous or egotistical. It is to be in agreement into helping someone or not. If you want to help your family members, of course you can do so. As long as you're all in agreement, that's it. It is a very clear answer. Or else separation. That's it. What do you mean? Yeah, separation. Yeah, that's it. It's over. Absolutely over. Exactly. Look, I've always said this, and I use this as an example because it is in the experience that Yahweh made me have to live. Because if I did not have an experience in many things, I would not be speaking here. I wouldn't have any property to speak. If I had not been married, and I have 33 years married, it's not that I got married yesterday, that gives me property and authority to speak. I have children, I have authority to speak. If I have children, I have a woman, a daughter, I can speak. I have a son, I can speak. I also come from having absorbed a religion since I was very little, also gives me authority to speak. Many things. And what I was about to say, I forgot. But hold on. That is precisely the base. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I just remembered. When I had a company with an associate, a friend of mine that was an associate in painting at the beginning before having my own, because that made me understand that I have to have my own alone. When I had it with a friend 50-50, what we decided was nobody extra works outside, not even in anything, without dividing the earnings into two. In other words, that from the moment in which that I entered into a society with my friend, everything that is earnings and work of my hands or his had to come into the company. In other words, if we work, both works would be all the earnings. Then afterwards, whatever was left was the division and half. But if there was an extra work that he got, in any, not just in painting and whatever else, it would earn $100, that had to come half and half. You might say, you can't do that. That's the way it is, just like in matrimony. Gonzalez, I could use my time and my effort into other things that make me earn, and I don't have even the effort for the company of both. That's why I don't like associations a lot, but they have to be just the same. And as it turns out, in some time that we didn't have a lot of work, I would go out to give things out with my truck, and I would give half to my associate out of my check that he hadn't even done anything. He was just watching TV at home. I would go out and work, and if they were to pay me $250 for a route, I would come take the gas out, and if it was 200 earnings, 100 for him, 100 for me. That is what you call to be an associate, just so you understand the limits of when I go into depth of what a society is. A society is something half and half. Same thing as matrimony, half and half. No one has the right, the exclusive right of personal use. No. Things belong to both. Everything belongs to both. The accounts are conjoined. They're joint. The earnings are both. The helpings belong to both, and anything that has to do in the home, the house, it belongs to both of them. If you are not in agreement with that, then that matrimony is broken, and it's no good, and it'll never work, because everything belongs to both. Her cell phone is his also. His cell phone, it's hers too. The Facebook account, it's his as well and hers as well, even if it's at whatever names. Everything belongs to both of them. It is it's society without any limitations between both of them. That is why they are one. That is why they have sex. That's why they sleep in one bed. Not just that makes them one. The whole rest of it makes them one. You have to understand that clearly. If you don't understand it, that society is broken. There is not friends that are only mine, nor does she have friends that are only hers. Yeah, because I'm going to go out with my friends. And he says, then I'll go with my friends to the bar then. If the wife allows it, some exception, she'll know why. But actually, there should not be one sole friend or girlfriend that are not a friend of the couple. I want you to understand this. That, oh, she's my friend and she gets with her friends, but that friend does not consider. It is difficult what I'm saying. Careful, because what I'm saying, okay? Careful, it's very difficult what I'm speaking. But you have to understand it. She has her personal friend. And I'm not saying that that personal friend has to be a friend of the guy. What I'm saying is that don't put personal friendships all over your matrimony. That it's difficult when I'm teaching. I tell it to you just like that. What wisdom is, there's no more personal friends. Either they're friends of the whole couple, or they're not friends, just like that. Or they come to the home together. They can speak a little bit if it's just a guy with the guy, but when they eat with the wife. It's not that they go off. I go to my friend's house and I stay the night over there. No, that's not the way things work. She could have a friend that is of the couple, a friend, not a boyfriend, or a friend of the couple. I'm gonna go, my dear husband, I'm gonna go shopping with her. That's fine. That's fine. There's already a friend that's, I'm gonna go to my friend's house, go with my girlfriend's house, go watch to the movies. No, go to the movies with my friend. That division cannot be. It's not that I am a jealous husband. I'm not jealous at all, but I know what a company is. I know what a company is. And a matrimony, there's no more that this is mine and this is yours. There's no such thing as that. There's no such thing as that. If you understand that, the thing is that, of course, I'm talking about a whole bunch of matrimonies that are even born bad from the very beginning. You have to be reborn or else get remarried. That's the way it is. Someday I'll speak a lot about this. I have a lot to speak about this, but to correct the defects in a matrimony that has more than a year old, it could be 2, 3, 15, 20. It's even more and more difficult. It's like trying to correct a little tree that is growing. It's a year. It's flexible. You can put a stick and you can fix it. But to correct it at 5 years old when it's already twisted, try to correct it. You can. You can put a bigger stick and it'll resist, and you have to. Every month you can fix it, but maybe from the curve that went that way, you can pull it this way a little bit. And if you have a stick, which is a matrimony, which has become two, if you grab it in time and you can join it together, they can grow together. But if you leave it 2, 3, 4 years, it becomes a V, and there's no way of conjoining them. Not just that. You get to a certain point, and it breaks. It'll break. Because one will be heavier than the other. So then for me to try to correct you, that would be fucking difficult. Let me tell you, I speak to you more than anything to the youth, which are moldable, which are about to get married, or that have got married, and so then still there is certain flexibility to straighten you up. Look, let me tell you something. Well, I don't know if I should tell it to you now or later. What time is it? No, because very upset. This guy, you haven't even started today's subject. Why don't you leave that for Sunday? I've told you this already. No, this is the biblical study. This is called wisdom and discipline, not a Bible study. Of course, I mean, this is the second one, and it is wisdom and discipline. Don't tell me that I'm not giving wisdom and discipline. Exactly. When I put Bible study, then yes. You said, Che, let's study the Bible a bit. And how long, when will Bocas begin? Oh, 35 minutes. Oh, look, the only ones that are going to be cheering, well, it's all the nation of Boca Juniors and you that are outside of the stadium. But our decree and thinking has to be there, because they're alone in an enemy field. You're going to see the pressure they feel. You're going to see they're going to whistle at them. They're going to insult them. You don't hear when they get there, and the Tribune says, "You son of a bitch, you fucking pieces of shit, and everything will kill you." The guy is the cops have to be there and cover them, because the Argentinians are so emotional. I don't understand it, because I am so relaxed. They're gonna they have to have shields, because they throw all kinds of things, from pee and water, anything they have. And look here in the entrance, they have to check them entirely. They know that they could throw any object. The water bottles, they let them enter little tiny ones without a cap, because then they throw them. No lighters, nothing with heavy things. So many things that no, they take something, rocks or something, to cast at them. They threw the key at the goalie it was the key for their cars. They preferred to lose their car, but says, "I'll throw it to this guy." That's how the Argentinians are. I don't know why they're so emotional. We're so relaxed. So relaxed. I don't know why they're so like that. Okay, we're going to leave that in a little bit. You're going to see the pressure that we have. We have to win. It's a war, and we have to win. What were we on? I was telling you that I was not going to tell you about the matrimony, because it's a long subject and fascinating to try to fix a matrimony. And certain things that we know that you cannot fix, but to try to fix a little bit. As it turns out, I watched a video yesterday of a tree that had grown into two heavy branches, and it was all starting to break in the middle. You know how they break? So that tree cannot be fixed. So what did the owner do? He put some holes there, because it was like he made holes to the tree, and he put iron with some bolts like this, and with metal on each side, and he fixed them. You know that it's broken like this, so he made a hole that went from here to here, and many irons like this, for it to at least not open even more, and some up ahead. He's not going to be able to get them together, but there could be certain things to help that matrimony. If the matrimony is like this, fucked up, But by studying wisdom, they could use certain things for it to not break apart entirely. That's the way I understand that your matrimony, you cannot fix it much because you're both old and you cannot stand each other. And then to fix that, you should have fixed that way before, way before. And how pretty is to have solved things when you are young. I had the privilege with Leslie that when we got married, to fight everything that we had to fight. And I'm referring to arguing and understanding one's position so as to stay together, not to deviate, but to stay together, to stay together. And let me tell you just one detail, for example, in my experience, that I've seen in my family, because of not correcting that all the matrimonies were broken. I'm the only son that has not been divorced. When my sister came, I said, hey, look, mom and dad divorced. No, they're not divorced. Yeah, one died. One died. Because of some problems that I know that are because of the matrimony. Of course, it got broken. He couldn't take it and he died. Divorced. They're matrimonial problems. Divorced. The older daughter, you got divorced. The next one got divorced. Your children, 1, 2, 3, divorced, all of them. How many children have 3? Divorced. What the fuck? The other daughter says, 1, 2, 3 children divorced. I think one is being saved. I think one is still together, right? One's still together, not the other one. That's the only one that for now, with their original wife, the other one divorced and remarried. I'm saying, is something happening in this family, in Silva Hammer? What the fuck is happening? And I, 33 years happily married. You see the difference, Vivi, between you and me? As simple as that, I told her. That's the way I speak. You see the difference. There is a difference. Adventism didn't help you at all. For dog shit, everyone divorced from the pastor, they're all divorced. And they would start to speak, and say, this divorce, all of them divorced. What's going on here? Well, what's going on? And I have a matrimony and not divorced. It's not even in problems to say, well, we'll consider. No. It's absolutely, we're together, Leslie and I. How do you achieve that? You achieve that by working from the very beginning. For example, a defect that I had, that Leslie told me about. It's a defect that my mom had, and I'm sure they inherited. The rest inherited that defect. You had to correct it from the very beginning, or else you never again correct it. I'll tell it to you. But you wanted to study the Bible, or what? Do I tell you this? Or we go and watch Boca? Well, this is the effect. This is the defect that would have been one branch growing this way, we would not be together. I tell it to you now, we would not be together. My mom had many egotistical things. She was very generous on what she wanted, very egotistical on what she wanted. For example, she had to have her Coca-Cola, and she would leave her Coca-Cola in the freezer and would mark it and would say, Christian, hey, don't drink my Coke. Don't drink my Coke because it's mine. And you know that it's always with the lies. The Adventists in Argentina, many, they see the Coke as sin. Because food hurts my stomach and you don't have that problem, so don't touch it. And if she would see who drank my Coke, and that's it, or else she would taste it, it's watered down. Of course, they would drink a little bit and would add water with it. We would do all the things that there's ever been. It's terrible. And if my dad would make her cookies or something, we would all eat. We were 5. It was 5 of us, right? 5. So then we had a cake, and we would divide it into 10 portions, for example. They'd give me 2 portions, 2 to my dad, 2 to my mom, 2 to Vivi, and 2 to Cynthia. Let's suppose that my mom would say, I'm going to eat one, and the other one I'll eat in the evening. So then all of us would eat our own because we were dying, we were starving. Hers would be left. She would keep hers, and of course, ours would happen. She wouldn't eat it, and you would go and look, and you had see the cake there. What do we do with that? No, it's mom's. It's her portion. So we had to respect that. If somebody were to touch it, oh, mama mia, who ate my cake? And that's the way they taught us. That justice was that you divide the cake and everything, and it is yours. That is your portion. It's over. Well, I got married with Leslie, and Leslie could not touch my plate. Once I would put food into my plate, it was my property. It was property of Christian Silva. If she would try to taste something with her fork, for me, that was an aggression, an invasion of my property, as if they were sticking a finger in my ear, just like that, strong like that, violently. How is she gonna use and poke my plate? That is out, but it's crazy. I got married with you, but not for you to poke on my plate. This is mine. This is mine. It says, no, that is also mine. And we would start to fight, and because she was upset, and I would say, now you eat it. I don't want anything. That's how Argentinians are. I don't want anything now. I told you not to touch my plate. It's mine. It's my plate. And that's the way I had been brought up. It's mine. It's mine. And many of you are that way in many aspects. Until Leslie fixed that on me. She says, what's yours is mine, what's mine is yours. She had to tame me. And it took months for me to allow her to touch my plate, because one thing is for them to do it, and I'm upset. She finished her fries, and then she went to eat mine. I left mine till the end, and I wanted to enjoy something else first, and I left. Just an example, could be whatever, and I left my fries. I wanted to eat the fries at the end and enjoy them one by one. And of course, she ate her own first, and now she's out of fries, and she sees mine that were untouched. And then her mom says, okay, that's what he doesn't want, I'll eat them. And I'm trying to leave them for the very last minute because it's what I like the most. So then she stretches her hand and eats one of my. That was like striking me in the face, because I'm saving them, and she already ate her own. She ate her portion. Now she eats mine. So then now that until I learned to delightfully says, yeah, sure, eat my fries, but that it takes practice. We don't come like this from the factory. That's why when you talk to me about your problems, you can change them, but if you don't change them, it is because you do not use this word. Discipline. 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 Like a child. Discipline. Discipline. For example, they told me that if Minto, they use his place to watch Troja, he would get upset. You have to use that place. It's the only way of curing him. There cannot be egotistical, or he didn't like it. He's hiding out of the camera. It says, can we speak about something else? Minto says, let's study the Bible. Says, second point. For Sunday, right? That I'm not here. For Sunday that I'm not here. Okay. I learned to share my whole plate, but with joy, and that wasn't born. That was imposed upon me since I was a child, that was mine, and another type of new rules had to come along, and for me to accept them, to break away with that. We all come messed up when we're children. We've all been taught wrong, and when you get married, you have to, if you want to grow a tree that you see only a tree, you have to mold it, and to see it, that is fine, because we could also, Leslie could also mold herself to say, yeah, I learned, because look at this mistake, look at this mistake. I learned to not touch Christian's plate. I respect him. Look at this. It would seem to be wisdom if her at that moment that says, don't touch my plate, this is mine. So then she says, well, This is how I'm gonna take his salad or a fried. No, I'm the abuser. I'm gonna respect his plate. Do you know what would have happened? We would be divorced. Why? Because you have to learn the basic rule of matrimony. It all belongs to both of us. If she respects my space so as to not fight, then she says, I concede, and he has his own space. So then what happens is that later I'll take this space, and then I'll take more space, and then I'll take something else, and then I'm going to say, this is mine, and then it is a wall being formed in my being and in my things with hers. There's no form of saying, I'm going to respect it. Because just because of respecting that, the matrimonies are destroyed. It could be that or something else. I'll speak about, well, not now. I didn't want to turn this into that, but I can speak about many other defects of the women. Leslie just told me when the desserts that were left in the fridge, couldn't touch them. Let's say Leslie would make a dessert, a tart, something sweet, a cake, and we would eat. And I would keep my own portion and say, I'm going to keep this for tomorrow, Leslie, okay? And Leslie says, okay. And the next day from work, imagining that I was going to eat drink some mate with that. And what happened? He says, oh, yeah, I ate it. Oh, but I told you that was mine. You ate your own portion yesterday, which is fair. So now I want to apply justice. I want to apply one justice. You ate your own part. You cannot eat my part, because my part is my part. And you could say, well, yeah, that's fair. You have to respect it from this Mr. No, that's not fair. That's not justice. Justice would be that she's going to eat everything that she wants whenever she wants. I have to eat as long as there is. As long as we have the cake in front of me, I can eat it. Once I ate a part like this and she ate a part like this, and what was left is only my part, then what is left there is, once again, belongs to both of us. And both of us, for whoever goes and eat it first. Sometimes a woman has that problem. In my case, my mom had it. In my house, it was my mom, not my dad. And my dad would respect it. And that earned diabetes, insanity, and death. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Because my mom, it was not, she started conquering, not just taking the cake, but also the peace, the kitchen, the room, his profession. And then when you lose all territory, what happens? Your heart stops. And you fuck off to death because you lost all of your territory. And this is not a conquering of territories in a matrimony. It isn't a conquering of territories. Territory belongs to both. There has to be respect, of course, but the respect shown in a different aspect, not in the one that I just said. I had to fix that. I had to file it down. Anything that is in my plate is also from hers. I served myself, and then she says, "Is that mine?" I said, "Yeah, take it." And I feel joy because I gotten over that, and I got over that thing of saying, "Hey, whatever is left there is mine." I like that she ate it, and that's fine. I've gotten over that. If I had not surpassed that in the first year of getting married with her, if I had not been smart enough, and if I had imposed my machismo and said, no, these are not how the things are going to work, this is mine and that's it, then it would have been my computer, then my cell phone. All of you that are listening to me, that your wives do not have access to your cell phones, the same thing is happening to you. They don't have access to your bank accounts openly. It's happening because food or the bank is the same thing. There's no difference. Or with your friends, or your friends, the girlfriends that the wife has. And if there's a barrier with the husband and the rest, they're destroying the matrimony. You want a matrimony that is joined and happy, that everything belongs to everybody permanently. Everything belongs to everyone. It's not that that's his couch. If I come and my wife is there in what is misused as my couch, I have to feel happy that she's using my couch. So then I'll use the one that I like the least. because I leave her there. And the other one, or on top of her. Because both things belong to both of them. Things belong to both of them. I want you to record that in the secret of things. And all this comes because one of the two was helping their family and the other one didn't want that. That's the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. How do you think they place their own family, mom and dad, over their partner? So then you're ruining your company. Exactly, completely, totally. And time is up already. Our time is completely up, but it is very interesting. Look, yes, give us like if you liked it. Well, I think that most of them didn't like what I taught because we have an egotistical heart. We have an egotistical heart. This took tears and strong fights with Leslie, but fighting strong fights of anger that I wanted her to understand that was mine. She's like, that's yours, my ass, she would say. And I'm going to stick that into your face until you lose this. I married one from Leo, and she will not yield, not 1 inch. She will not yield. And as it turns out, it was my half, because if she had yielded, oh, mama mia, I would take not just the plate, but also her plate. Her plate, I would take the entire control of everything, and that is diabetes for someone, and then death, exactly, that's the way it is, completely, exactly, and the one that controls. Because then you have the wife that is calling every 5 minutes. Why the fuck are you calling me? No, just because, see if you're doing okay. Yeah, I'm fine, damn it. Don't call me again. But of course, you have to teach the wife that I don't want you, if you call me, it is to tell me I love you. And not so often, because that's why I come home. You can call me, I don't know. Take the idea out that I have to, already with the need, I have to call my husband to see if he's doing okay. No, take that idea out of your head. Take that out, because if I'm dead, I had to die, that's it, it's over. But don't be calling me. Don't be calling me. Don't fuck with me like that. Don't break my balls that way. Unless you need, my love, can you get this on your way home? Maybe a special food, but not to control. Not to control. Are you okay at work? Yes, I'm fine. Or else I would call you. Yes, I'm fine. Don't be controlling me. The mother with the children. Are you okay, my love? Yes, I'm fine. I did get you. And are you? Yes, it's all. I'm doing well. I come from families that are controlling, not of my parents, but of my uncles. So controlling that when it was their first daughter got married, they went there on their honeymoon to see if they were doing okay. And my mom and dad said, how are you going to go to the honeymoons? Oh, we're not accompanying them the honeymoon. Stop controlling your children. And I'm talking about matrimony, okay? Forget about that. Stop controlling the husband, controlling the wife, and the wife controlling the husband. What have you done? What have you not done? In many aspects, this question is for everything. In many aspects, I have learned with Leslie to act. Leslie took egotism away from me. Selfishness, to take selfishness out. When Leslie discovered that I was not giving the tithes, and I was just writing it down because I learned it from my mom. Because I had to pay for a debt or something, so then let's suppose that I had to take $100 of tithes here in the U.S. $100 of tithe, because I earned 1,000, but I said, but if I take that out, and from my mom specifically, if I take it out, take the tithe now in this moment, I'm not going to be able to pay for the light, for example, so then I'll grab, how much do I have to pay? I'll say I'll owe 100. Not that I'm not going to pay for it. I'll write it down. Not like you that just don't give and you're special. And I'm going to start giving again. No. Of course, I want you to understand this well. It's not that I said I'm not going to give tithes for a time. No, no. That would have been such guilt. I would grab tithe and I would write it down. I have $100 and I cannot give it, but next week when I get paid, I'll cover that. And well, if I can, I'll pay for the one in the moment. I was owing like $3,500 already. I've told the story many times, yes. And then Leslie comes and says, "What are those $3,500?" I says, "Oh, this is a debt. Debt of tithe, because it's a tithes. What do you mean you owe tithes? Yeah, we're gonna pay for it. Don't you worry." But we got behind a bit, just like you. They get behind, you forget, you never pay for it. I don't know what you do. Then it says, "What? No, you're not gonna eat or anything until you pay the very last cent." People don't understand. The tithe is given just like when a dad gives food to a child. You cannot owe. Exactly. I'll talk about tithes in different aspects, but the tithe has a priority over needs over everything, because it's not something that you're giving, but you're returning. And tithes is a wall that protects your riches or your life. That phrase, which I found in the Talmud, it is more than wise. The Jews say that. I didn't just make it up. Tithes are a wall that protects your riches. The rich, if they don't give their tithes, they lose everything. And the poor, if they don't give tithes, never have anything, because they don't have anything to put it in. Tithes are a wall that protects your riches. And when you give, it's not that you're giving, but you're returning. You're giving back. And when you return, Elohim gives you more. But it's something that you have to understand. Just like you have to understand that your wife has to access your plate. So then I owe tithes, and Leslie says, "You're going to pay for that now." Because I don't care if you're going to pay the house or not. And that's it. I paid for it in very little time. And I never, again, got back. Fell back on that. Because she noticed the mistake that I was making. But I want you to understand that matrimony, it's like two different logs that have to be together. If one of the logs goes this way, because they're still logs together, they were born separate, but they got together. You're going to join them to a point that they almost fuse together. If you start to go this way and the other starts to go that way, that opening will break. That's why you have to do even the impossible, so as to have a matrimony that you're together in wisdom. You could say, "Yeah, they're together because I allowed my husband to have his space, do not touch his plate." So then it is conjoined. You see, no, that's not conjoined. Rule number one in the matrimony is that there's no division. It is one. And I expect the same from Yahweh. Oh yes, that's what I expect from Yahweh. If Yahweh marries, whether it's symbolic or not, with a group of humans that are the Mashiach, he has to share everything. There's no need for me to say it. There's no need for me to say it. Yeshua already said it for us. Yeshua was Yahweh and said everything that the Father has is mine. That's it. It's all fucked. I understood with everything that he said, everything that the Father has is mine. That is why he says, "I'll give you of mine own." So then humanity, the Messiah is not going to say, "Look, we're the chosen, the Messiah, but it's God Almighty." No, it says, no, everything that God has is mine. Because it is a unity that we have with Yahweh that makes him to a level that I don't know if you understand. I don't know if you understand this, what a wife is, but if you understand it to at a mortal level, If you think that your matrimony, it's like you, that you're divided, that God says, I have my own account, she does not have access. Imagine that God were to say, yes, I have a whole bunch of power that I won't give my wife access to, a limited access. It's not going to work that way. To have unlimited access, everything that the Father has is mine, everything that Elohim has is mine. Because Elohim and I are one. That is what a couple means. That is what a couple means. And he was showing the brutal authority that the Mashiach will have. Brutal, unquestionable. The difference between the Mashiach and humanity, same thing as the difference between God and humanity. God and the Mashiach are one. And humanity is the government. Of course, that is clear. But first you have to understand it here. At a human level, we are one. In every aspect, one. And if you see that that is divided, then that matrimony is broken already. There's nothing to save. Absolutely nothing to save. I'm not going to read, not even. Yeah, I have to read this one in 2 minutes. I have to read this one in 2 minutes. Yeah, it's 8 minutes left. Number 3, I'll leave for something else. Number 4 says, real quickly I have to read, we have to do with the eclipse. It reads as follows. My question is according to the following solar eclipse on Monday. It says that you should be cautious to watch it, to have certified solar protection and to earn certain... due to the UV rays, you have to cover your skin. Also, what I've read into indications against the eclipse, also not even to look at, not even with glasses. It's also, it says it affects women that are pregnant. Yeah, it makes them miscarry. No, I'm just playing, okay? Maybe you believe me. And that they should protect themselves with red, yeah, because of the evil eye. They have to wear a red ribbon, dress in red if you're pregnant, and also with a belt with protection for the baby so it doesn't affect the baby. My question is that a myth? Is that true? It's all an absolute myth, absolutely, except just don't look directly at the eclipse with your eyes. First of all, because you don't see it well, because it could affect your vision, because the sun, even though it's just one part, is very difficult for the eyes. Just look for some for eclipse. It's something very dark, like those welding. Now for your skin, don't fuck around. Stop fucking around. The pregnant, stop with all that. Never use solar protection. It ruins your skin, and you can get what you fear the most, which is cancer. Don't use sunblock, not because of the eclipse, but never, just never. What else were you going to say? Yeah, they give them to you, or they're very. Just look at them real quick. Never seen an eclipse, but yes, the rest is myth. Will the Antichrist come? Well, I hope that's not a myth. That's the only thing that I hope that is not any myth. And for it to be a reality, and for the Antichrist to show up with all the glory of the Father, just like that, with the glory of the Father, or else with the glory for now, because of course if he appears with the glory of the Father, and it'll be very sus to appear with power, or at least concealed in human beings, but to appear with power. That would be fabulous, just like that. A year with a closing with a golden brochet or a solar eclipse, which could mark the beginning of the Antichrist. I'm playing, or the arrival of the Messiah, the arrival of the true Messiah. That would be fantastic. But she'll meet again after the eclipse, and when it's already the new year, which will be the next Shabbat. So then, without any further ado, I hope that you have enjoyed today's subject, which was pure wisdom and discipline, which I love to present. And of course, we'll always have time to study scripture and to study wisdom. If we're still here, and if we're on this earth, is to learn precisely this, wisdom and discipline. It's the most important thing that we've got in the preparation of this special group. And you are my friends. And I'll always greet you and congratulate you and show you the things that you sent us, because it's a pleasure to do so. That's why I do it. It is not a biblical study, conventional like you've learned in the churches, but you know this. I'm not telling you, I'm telling all the rest that listen. So then, without any further ado, I hope that Boca can sustain and have strength. If we lose, that's fine. Nothing happens, but we hope to win today's game, and I hope you watch it already. So look in Fútbol Libre Fútbol, until you find what you have to find. So then next Shabbat, then the same text will return, and we'll see what we study. But, or if we could advance a little better. What's important in wisdom and disciplines, it's what's important. The rest, the Bible, you always had it. You want more Bible? Now you start reading it once I wrap this up. Psalm 78, 1 through 2, Jerusalem 2001 says, "Hear my people, my teaching. Pay heed to the words of my mouth. I shall open my mouth in parables and evoke the mysteries of the past." Without any further ado, let us wrap up with a word of prayer. Beloved Yahweh, we give you thanks because you speak to us with your wisdom. We are your bride, and we shall be in the most appropriate time when we join together and become one. All of whatever is yours is ours, because you will give it to us, because you and we shall be one. We give you thanks for everything that you have taught us today. May it be that we can take advantage of it, and that we can apply it in every life that is listening, so that they understand the relation that your bride will have with you. All this, I thank you for it in your precious name, Yahweh Sabaoth. Alleluia. Semper Fi. Let the laurels be eternal that we knew had to achieve, crowned with glory, let us live. Long live the Argentum bride, which is one with Yahweh. Long live Leslie, who tamed me, took out all of my egotisticalness, and understanding that my plate is not just mine, but it's both of us. And if it weren't for her, I would not be speaking this. If it weren't for her, I would not be speaking about this. Long live Christian! Long live Christian!
Aguante Boca!
Aguante Boca, damn it! Let's go Boca, damn it! Hallelujah to every one of you.